The lovely, wonderful Tamra, please tell me who my guest is this evening.
Tonight's guest is a local filmmaker and producer who also happens to be one half the team known as Dark Figure Productions, here to talk about true ghost stories in Ohio. Please welcome Shane Reinhardt.
Shane, my man, how are you? Good, have a seat there, relax. All right, so the last time we talked, you told me about some crazy stories surrounding this project that you were doing called True Ghost Stories in Ohio.
That's right.
And now the DVDs come out, and it's in everyone's hands, it's in every video store, it's all over the place. What got you started doing this series?
We got a hold of a local historian who had put out a book, and he was extremely popular, and he got his book into some stores. He was actually doing ghost tours all year round. And my partner and myself, we gave him a call and said, "Are you interested in doing something like this?" And he said, "Definitely, I've never done anything like this before." And we thought that there was a really strong market for this because we had seen the Haunted Ohio books sell very well,
Right.
and the ghost tours. And Halloween is now the second highest grossing holiday, so we were very interested in giving it a shot.
Behind, like, Leland Day?
Just right behind him.
Right behind
Right
Leland
behind
Day?
That's my favorite holiday.
Yeah. What is it that would get a person like you interested in doing this type of program other than, it being a good idea? Is it like a personal interest?
I had all the Haunted Ohio books. When I was going to high school and everything, the Haunted Ohio books were just coming out, and I really got into those. I was like, man, this is some really neat stuff. And I actually had an experience while I was in high school that just kind of set it and got it going.
Okay, so this True Stories, this is volume 2.
This is volume 2.
And you had a volume 1. Tell us about some of the locations and different places you went and what's involved in those stories.
Okay, we traveled a lot of places. We started out in February. We went to Lancaster. We did Hawks Tavern at the Mill, and we went there. Their ghost supposedly makes phone calls, and things have been moved around. And one of the bartenders, he's even had a conversation with this ghost, and everybody swears up and down they never saw it, but he'll tell you that it definitely happened, and he almost didn't even come back to work due to that.
Right. As I watched it and he talked about that, I knew that that's where it was going to turn out. The Hawks Tavern story was a personal favorite interest of mine, and we've got a clip here. Why don't you tell us what's going to happen in the clip?
In the clip, we've got one of the bartenders, and he's talking about how they used a Ouija board down in the basement, and they had some very unusual things happen.
Okay. And so I guess let's go ahead and take a look at a clip from True Ghost Stories from Ohio, Volume 2.
The Ouija board was on a Friday night. It was myself, 2 other people that work here, and 1 regular customer of ours. And we decided to go upstairs. We have an unfinished side on the upstairs, and there's an elevator shaft. And one of the guys that is our regular, and he did some research and discovered that there was somebody that died here in the construction of the building when they either fell off a wall or fell down the elevator shaft and was killed. And we've sort of given the guy's name Luke. I don't really remember why his name was made Luke or whatnot. So I'd never been used a Ouija board before, and I didn't really necessarily believe in one. But we went upstairs and sat down on the floor next to the elevator shaft and started using it, started asking some questions. And the Ouija board started talking back to us. Said that his name wasn't Luke. Said that he had another spirit in the basement that he was keeping here against her will. At one point in time, we asked him his name, and it started to spell out Satan. I saw that by the time we got to the second A, and I stopped at that point and asked him his name again, and it started to spell out my name. I wasn't moving the board in any particular direction. These are 3 people that I trust rather implicitly. I don't believe that they were manipulating the board in any way whatsoever. So that's the last time I've ever used a Ouija board, as a matter of fact. Actually, I take that back. That's not true. We did go down one more time a couple weeks later, and we went down in the basement.
And I tell you, you look at that, and one of the things that I really loved the most was not only the cinematography. You had a lot of crane shots, a lot of dolly shots, but the lighting, especially on the host, was just excellent. What was the process of that?
That was a lot of work. In order to come up with the set, we would stay out at night and we would go behind the studio where we were shooting at, and we would drag everything we could find in to make it look like a trail. And then
So that was actually inside of a studio?
That was inside a studio. We were not
Wow.
outside. We set the lights up in different spots, and then we created some cookies and tried to bounce the lights off in different directions to give it a very different look, so it looked like he was walking through the woods. We didn't want it to look like it was inside at all. We wanted it to look as different as possible from our first DVD.
Well, I tell you, I've been in this business a long time, and it definitely fooled me. I could have sworn that was outside. Tell me about the locations. Like, were there any spooky occurrences? Did you get freaked out? Did you get thrown against the wall? Did you get touched?
We had one really creepy place. We went to Westwood Town Hall in Cincinnati. Their ghosts. He seemed to do a lot of funny stuff. And we called them up and we said, "Well, can we get in here?" And they said, "Well, yeah, but we've had some news crews come in and have some tapes, but we can't find them anywhere." And then mysteriously the next day the tapes appeared in a perfect stack right on this desk, and only 3 or 4 people were actually there, and nobody could have been there during that period of time. So we sent me down to the basement, and we needed to do something where it looked like a door was opening on its own. So we set me in this room, pitch black. If this door shut, it was locked. They had to go upstairs and get these people, and there's a portal to another world in there. So I'm in there in the dark, and I'm like, "All right, guys, just make sure the door doesn't shut." I'm just trying to hold on as tight as I can to that knob so it doesn't shut, and I'm stuck in there. Because I could have been stuck in there for 20 minutes or more, because they said that door would often stick, that only one person seems to ever be able to get that door to open.
Or you could have been transported to another world.
I could have ended up somewhere else.
What world do you think that would have been?
I have no idea. It could have been the Twilight Zone.